everybody, welcome back to Kentucky Dirt Fishing. This is actually Kentucky Dirt Fishing. This is not Michigan edition. I am home. We're going to do a little bit of this home site here today. It was here in the 1860s, and it was here until sometime in the mid-1900s. So this house was here longer. I can't tell you the name of the ghost town for the property owner. He doesn't want that out there because it is on some of the older maps still. There was a house here. There was a house up the valley. There were several houses here. The ghost town came in right after, it was a land grant given to 5 brothers right after the Revolutionary War. And they founded this little ghost town. At some point they packed up and moved to Missouri, and I have not been able to find any actual documents on that to give you an exact date. But the houses were still here, the families were still here. This house on this house site was here the longest out of all of the houses. I don't have an exact date when it was built. I do know that one of the owners that lived at this property, I have documentation going back as early as 1803. And I really don't know when the house was either demolished, torn down, burned down. A lot of the houses here burned in a forest fire. This one, I know it was here long enough to have electricity because I dug up their grounding rod. So we're going to go start picking through this and see what we can find. There's going to be a lot of trash, and I'll show you why. We cleaned out the creek a little bit, and we pulled out a ton of garbage. Now we knew there was a trash dump here somewhere. It wasn't only used by the residents that lived here, it was started being used by the city sometime after that. And so there's new stuff, then there's old stuff, then there's older stuff, and then even older stuff. And when we get a lot of rain, a lot of that stuff washes up. And we try to scoop it out as much as we can because I don't want it washing miles downstream. And yes, I have found pieces of this dump miles downstream. So we really don't want that stuff to just keep washing and wash into the river and get into all the waterways. So if we can get it out of here and get it recycled, that's what I'd rather do. We do recycle what we are able to rescue out of here. And of course, if it's a good old bottle, I keep it. But I did find something this morning. Just eyeballing. Hope I don't make you too dizzy carrying you over here. Now I do like finding money, because I like to date a site with money, but I prefer tokens. I think there's more history to a token. However, this is my first time finding one of these on the property here. This was not with a metal detector, this is just eyeballing. I found play money. When I get it cleaned up, I'll take some pictures of it so you can get a better idea of what's on it. Maybe I'll try to research it and find out what year it was from. It was just laying on top of this garbage we scooped out. So when I get that cleaned up, I'll get a picture of it for you. I'll get back to you when I find something else. Okay, so we did some research on our play money. And really, I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. Really, there's not a lot of info out there on it. I did find one on eBay for sale that was much cleaner than this one. But if you can see that, there's a little cowboy on a horse, and it says play coin, 25 cents. And on the other side, you've got a cowboy hat and crossed pistols, and it says play coin, and then it spells out 25 cents. Like I said, the only thing I was able to find on it was that it's a vintage play coin. I found one item on the internet. I asked around this area to people that would have been, a child at that time, and they remember having play coins, but they don't remember this particular play coin. So I wasn't able to find a brand. I wasn't able to find a year. The only thing it shows is it's vintage, which kind of knew that already because of the dump that it came out of. But that was the play coin we found. And really, there's not a lot of info out there on it. Alright, so I'm still digging through the trash over here. I am going to do some creek walking and some metal detecting here in a minute, but every time I find bottles just laying on top of the ground, I have to pick them up and look at them. So, usually what I find are these old beer bottles from the 60s. Whoever lived here was a drunk, apparently, because they're everywhere. However, I got a Pepsi bottle there. I don't know what year it is. I don't know how old it is. It's probably not that old. It's probably only about as old as me. We're going to pull it out and see if it's whole. It is whole, but the label is gone. And that don't look like Pepsi. It looks like it might be Dr. Pepper. No, that's probably a Pepsi label. Dad likes these old bottles, though. I'll take it home to him. Alright, and then we're going to head up the creek. Because, sorry, I didn't mean to spin you so fast. Right up there, and you really can't see the creek that well from this angle. Let me pick you up a little bit. There you go. I was walking that the other day, looking for rocks and bottles that washed down. And I found my favorite treasure, an arrowhead. And I'll throw a picture of that up here in a minute, because I did not get it on film. I kind of acted like a 4-year-old who was being handed a double fudge sundae. I snatched that out of the ground quicker than scat. So, and then my dad says, hey, why didn't you get your camera? I was like, crap. So anyway, we're going to go up above that little waterfall up there, because I have walked from this tile to the waterfall several times, making sure I didn't miss anything. So now we're going to go up above that little waterfall and walk all the way around till the creek crosses the road. So if I find anything, I'll get back to you. Alright, so I completed my creek walk with no luck. I didn't find any more Indian artifacts today. But we're expecting some rain in a couple of days, and I'll come back and recheck, because I can't help myself. However, I'm on a house site, which there's been a lot of heavy-duty equipment come through here, power company, gas company, whatever, whoever came through, loggers. So the trash dump kind of got dragged this way. But, and I'll dig probably 110 of these today. This is a shotgun head stamp. That's the first hole, and I'll get back to you if I find something interesting. I'm going to try not to do many live digs on this site, though, because a lot of it's going to be trash. I'll get back with you and find something soon. Okay, so I just got done saying I wasn't going to do many live digs today. Second hole, and I should have done a live dig. It's nothing spectacular, but I love it because it's cultural. You see that old hole right there? I love that stuff. See if it can stay in focus long enough. You zoom you back out. Check that out. I love this stuff. Everybody says, why you dig up that old junk for? I love this junk. It's my favorite junk to dig. If they made stuff like that today, it'd last a lot longer. We spend a lot less money. Alright, sorry you're staring at the floor. The weather is not cooperating for today's cleanup videos. When I find stuff out in the field, I kind of make a best guess. And then once I get it home, get it cleaned up, and can actually tell what it is or research it a little bit, which usually when I'm out digging there's absolutely no signal. But then I try to do a video to give you an idea of what it actually is. So, like I said, sorry you have to look at the floor, but that's the best light that I can get in here. You're on a back screened-in porch, and to try to block some of the wind today. It's raining, it's gloomy, it's cloudy, so we have all the lights on out here trying to light them up for you. But when I dug this in the video, I said that I thought it was a hoe, because this is what I could see. It's actually called a foot adze, and it was for debarking trees. I did find some information about how they used to dig out canoes out of a large log with them. The handle would have gone this way, and it would have been used like an axe, only perpendicular to the handle. And they had changeable blades on them, from what I read. And like I said, I had to ask my dad about this because I really didn't know. But you could change out the blade if the blade was worn out, and it would have come, on out this way, which is, it's rotted off over time. But yeah, that's what that is. Okay, so third hole, I really should be doing live digs because I'm digging way down the hill. When I was digging up the hill, I was always getting nothing but trash out of the trash dump. I've only dug 3 holes, and they've all been pretty cool. This one, I can't make out the first name. You might be able to see it. I can't. Right here, we've got Watch Company. So I'm going to do some research on that when I get home. Find out what watch company. Not positive on that. I'm not an expert on old watches. So I will do some research, and I'll throw the information up there when I find out. Alright, so I went back and checked on my dad. Some of you know, some of you don't. He had full knee replacement a couple days ago. Keeping him down is not possible. Went home and found him out in the workshop. But earlier today I dug an inner piece to a pocket watch. Looks like it says British Watch Company. And I just dug the back to it. It's pretty ornate, but it is brass. I looked up the watch that I found earlier and what it might have looked like with the maker's mark that I had on it. And this looks like exactly what was in the picture. If there's any engraving, once I get all this scraped off of here, I'll take pictures and put it back up and let you see it. Hopefully I find the actual watch face. That would be cool. This item, I dug this on my first day here on that house site. And I can't tell on the screen if you can actually read that or not, because it keeps wanting to focus on the floor. But that says British Watch Company. Of course, it's just the inner plate off the watch. I didn't find any more of the actual inside of the watch. However, a couple days later, and this is not going to show up well on camera, but I was able to get a photo of it where it actually showed up pretty nice. You can tell it's very ornate. If I can get my camera to focus. Very beautiful watch cover. It's not actually the back, it's the cover. And there's actually a steam engine train right here. And so I did some research on it. Found out it was from 1886. Sorry, I went off camera. I had to go get the year that I wrote down. It's from 1886 from the Burlington Railroad. So it was a retirement watch. And I did some research on the Burlington Railroad and found out, I didn't know. I don't really know a lot of railroad history, but that is now BNSF, which is Burlington Northern Santa Fe. But back at that time, they had Burlington Northern and Burlington Southern. And it was the second transcontinental railroad that became Burlington Southern. It started out in Nebraska. Started in Chicago, moved to Nebraska, went on out to Las Vegas and Santa Fe and out west. It was actually still is a big railroad. So, it's still around today. But this gentleman, and I can't give you his name, but this gentleman retired from there. And like I said, I don't know what year. I don't think he was the original owner of the property. I think he may have been a descendant of the original owner, because like I said, the original owner built the home there in 1803, and then there was another home built later. So yeah, that was a nice piece. I'm going to put a picture up of it after this clip, just because I know I'm not getting full detail in this video, but I have a really nice photo that I was able to get while I was cleaning it that shows more of the detail. Alright, so I have not moved since the hole from the watch part. I have another good signal in there. It's an 80, 81, 82. But while I was digging, I found a clay marble. So I think I got a good spot. I think I finally found a good spot for this house instead of all trash. That's pretty cool. I've never dug one of these. Never found one in the creek. I find regular, Christensen, agate, all the normal ones that you find in this area. There was over in West Virginia, there was a factory where they were made. So you find marbles everywhere down here, Marble King. But I've never found a clay marble. That's awesome. All right, the next item here that we have that we're giving in our wrap up, and these clips will play right after the original clip. When I dug this, I was actually digging up a watch part, and I said, "Ooh, that's kind of nice. I found a clay marble." Then I found out it's not clay at all. It's actually stone. It's a stone gaming piece. Like I said, we had a lot of Native American activity in this area. So this was way better than what I thought it was. Because clay marbles really aren't worth much. They're kind of cool to dig because, it's still old. It still has history. This is way cooler. I love that I have a gaming piece. It's not exactly round. I don't know if you can see that in the video because I keep rolling it around. It's not perfectly round, and you can tell it's stone. It's not clay. But I also found some more items, so I want to show you those. In that same area, we found several flakes of flint. I love the sound it makes. It sounds like glass. So these are coming out of the creek. You can tell they're spalled off of a much larger piece. They're sharp as they can be. So this would have been when, man or woman or child, because they all did it, was making a tool or an arrowhead or a spearhead or any of the many tools that they used out of flint. This one, I believe, is a river cobble chert, but these are flint. So yeah, they would have been sitting making their tools or out in the field, ready to hunt, making a new tool. They had to make what they needed on the go. So they didn't have a Walmart to drive up and buy it. So yeah, that was some of the first items we found. One of the next ones was this little arrowhead. You can see up here in this corner, it's completely gone. So I took it to a friend of mine and had them look at it, and it doesn't actually look to have been used. It doesn't look like an impact fracture. It looks as if when they were putting an ear, like this one, on this side, this broke off. So the opinion is that this was broken during manufacturing and wasn't actually used. The next item we found was this little guy. And he's only a part of what he was, but it was an arrow shaft straightener. They would take this and actually run it along the arrow shaft to get any imperfections out, or bows or bends, or sand it down and make it a straight shaft. And then we found this one. It's a little tiny paint pot. I love it. It's actually, the hole is actually the size of my thumbprint. So yeah, this is one of my favorite. And then we found this. It's actually a broken point. It would have been an Adena point. Adena, Woodland, Mississippian era. But yeah, I wish I could have found the top half. This is more like what an impact fracture would look like. It just breaks it off. Usually it's because there's some sort of like crystal inclusion or impurity, but this one is just broken. And then we found some possible pendants. This one could be natural, but you can tell it's really drilled out and then finally poked through. This one has a much bigger drill hole in the back and then a really small one from the front. I tried to see if I could get an image off of this. No matter what I do to it, I don't find one. So I don't know if they were engraved and just time has washed it away. But either way, those are some pretty cool finds.